Today we're diving into a very special theme, steampunk. Over time, I've built several sets with this aesthetic full of gears, copper tones, steam and mechanical details. From two brands I really enjoy, Funwhole and Pantasy. So in this video, I've brought together 4 of the most memorable steampunk sets I've built so far. The Trading Center and the Watchtower from Funwhole, and the Nautilus and the Windmill from Pantasy. The idea is simple. Revisit these models, see how they compare to each other, and in the end, share which ones really stand out both in the building experience and in how they look together. Let's start with a set that shows a calmer, more rural side of steampunk, the Pantasy Windmill. Hey steampunk fans, your gears, goggles, and oversized top hats are needed because today we're looking at the Pantasy Steampunk Windmill Workshop. This set clocks in at over 2,500 pieces, set number 85,026, and it's a fascinating mashup of system and technic. It even comes with 3 minifigures, a bunch of beautifully pad-printed parts, and most importantly, the blades actually spin, and not just by hand, like you're pretending it's laundry day. No, Pantasy includes their very own modular power unit. This windmill has horsepower, or steam power, I guess. Before we get spinning, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss the next adventure. Let's start with the minifigs. Our 3 little heroes are very well themed for this set. On the left, we've got the blacksmith, complete with gloves and a mustache that says, "I can forge metal, but I also moonlight as the villain in a silent movie." In the middle, we have the apprentice. He's rocking magnifying glasses to work on gears, which makes him look like he's either a genius watchmaker or about to weld something very badly. Gloves on, yellow bandana, ready to go. And finally, our mysterious visitor. Smart blue suit, suspenders, printed details on the back. He looks like he might be here to buy a steam-powered time machine or sell us questionable insurance. Either way, he's classy. One note, the figs can sit down. Let's go to the building starting with the front. Gears everywhere because you can't have steampunk without them. The base has a stone-like texture that makes it look nice and grounded. There's a working door, gold detailing, and plenty of chrome highlights. And then, the star of the show, those blades. They're massive. Bigger than I expected, and so much fun to build. A great mix of system for the detailing and technic for the structure. When they're on, it looks like the building is alive. On the side, we've got a wheelbarrow full of coal, because of course we do. And even a little cart on rails. There are also some pipes leading into the steam engine. Around the back is where things get serious. The Pantasy modular power unit. USB-C port, Pantasy logo, power button. It feels fancy. You half expect it to charge your phone while spinning the blades. And up above, there's a little lookout post with a telescope and ladder. Perfect for spotting incoming zeppelins or rival windmill startups. The panels on this set are removable, and I love that. Take a couple off, and you've got full access to the inside. In here, we've got a detailed oven with printed bricks, a workshop desk with more prints, plenty of gears, a bucket for forging, and even moving Technic functions. It feels like a place where things are actually being built. You can imagine the blacksmith hammering away while the apprentice accidentally sets something on fire. And once you hook up the motor and hit the button, magic. The blades spin, the embers move, and the whole place comes alive. It's one of those wow moments that makes the hours of building totally worth it. Spinning in action. Panels back on, motor engaged, and just look at it. The size, the presence, the movement. You almost expect it to start making whoosh whoosh noises or summon a thunderstorm. Honestly, it's the kind of set you want to leave running in the background just to show off. So, what was it like to build? Pantasy labels this one as an expert build, and I'd agree. I even tried to get my son to build this, but he said it was too difficult. At first, I thought he was just being lazy, but after trying it myself, I had to agree. Sorry, son. The combination of system and technique keeps things interesting, and the instructions do a great job explaining how it all comes together. The brick quality is excellent. Clutch, color consistency, all very solid. Attaching the 6 removable panels to the central structure did test my patience a few times. It's a bit like convincing a cat to sit still. Possible, but not always easy. Still, the fact that they're removable for play and display is worth it. The windmill blades were easily my favorite part. Watching them spin with the motor running was a fabulous moment. Honestly, I sat there for a good few minutes, just staring at it, like, yep, I built that. That's mine. And now my final thoughts. Another unique and very impressive set from Pantasy. Great size, great detail, and it doesn't just sit there. It moves. That's always a win in my book. And you, what do you think? Is this Steampunk Windmill Workshop something you'd add to your collection, or do you prefer your gears purely decorative? Let me know in the comments, or just say hi to feed the YouTube algorithm some love. Want this set for yourself? Links and a discount code are in the description, and using them supports the channel at no extra cost. The windmill really shows a more classic and peaceful side of steampunk, almost like an old mechanical structure frozen in time. But once we move into a more urban environment, the scale and the level of detail change quite a bit. And that's where the Funwhole Trading Center comes in. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a detailed review of the Funwhole Steampunk Trading Center set. If you're a fan of intricate designs and love that steampunk aesthetic, stick around to see if this set is worth adding to your collection. First, let's talk about the packaging. Funwhole really knows how to impress when it comes to presentation. The box is sturdy and premium, with vibrant artwork showcasing the final build beautifully. Plus, the packaging feels collector-friendly, perfect for those who like to keep their boxes in good condition. Before I continue, I'd like to mention that the opinions provided here are my own. I have no script, these are my honest opinions. And I use an artificial voice in my videos because I'm not fluent in English, and honestly my voice isn't the best for narration. But I hope the content still shines through and you enjoy it. Details aside, let's move on to the instruction manual. When it comes to the instruction manual, Funwhole also does a solid job. This manual is divided into 3 parts with a good print. We have a short introduction to the company with the name that some end up making fun of. And next we have some great pictures. Some care to be taken with the wires and some content. The manual also includes detailed guidance for the lighting kit. So even if you've never installed lights in a build before, it's all laid out step by step. The steps are clear and easy to follow, and they break things down nicely. The manual has a really professional design, and it includes detailed steps for not just the build, but also the lighting installation. And the books end up showing the 2 ways to display and some of the other sets belonging to Funwhole. If you're interested in picking up this set or any other Funwhole set, don't forget to use my code MINIMSTORIES on the Funwhole website for 10% off your purchase. The information is also in the description of the video, and I thank you in advance if you do so. The Funwhole Steampunk Trading Center is made up of 3 modular sections that give you some flexibility in how you display it. I'll be honest, one thing I was a bit disappointed with was that you can't fully separate these sections. While the design allows them to move forward or backward in different positions, I was hoping for a more customizable experience, where I could fully take them apart into individual components. But I admit that with lights, these changes become more difficult and more expensive. And I'll give them credit because it's more modular than many other sets out there. You can create 3 different looks, which is still a lot more flexibility than many other similar sets offer. On the front, we have these banners with gold lettering, a nice touch. And the clock's hands rotate, and while it doesn't do anything super technical, it's an interesting aesthetic choice. It is well done, and even though it uses stickers for the numbers, it still looks great. The building is full of pulleys and mechanisms, something characteristic of the steampunk style. These mechanisms don't actually do anything, but are still funny devices. And these windows with printed designs also add a lovely touch to the set, don't you think so? Right in the center, we have these gates, which could be better fixed because they end up being a bit loose. And then there's the connector piece where all the wires end up. Another cool feature is the elevator. While it doesn't use any fancy mechanisms, it does have a counterweight system to keep it balanced. The elevator does move, but it's a bit tough to push around. It's definitely built for display more than play, but it's still a nice touch. On this side, we have a few more windows and another gear that has no function beyond aesthetics. The glass roof is a standout feature, but it requires care. Since the curved elements are held only by clips at the bottom, you need to handle it gently, especially when cleaning to avoid dust buildup. I can't forget the little touches inside, like the telescope and the furniture. These small pieces add a lot of personality and really help sell the steampunk vibe. And look at these tubes at the top. Love it. Now, let's talk about the minifigures. We've got a couple of characters here, perfectly sized for the world of steampunk. No fancy names, but they fit right into the theme. One of them looks like they're ready to fix some machinery, while the other seems like they just stepped out of a Victorian tea party. They're charming little figures that give life to the build, and honestly, isn't that what we love about these sets? Now, the build experience. This set has 650 steps, and as with most Funwhole sets, they take their time to make sure the lighting installation is smooth. It's a bit more than what you'd expect for a typical set, but given that the lights are built in, I think it's totally worth it. Some people might find it a bit tedious, especially with how often you have to move cables to the side, but I don't mind. It adds to the precision and the thoughtfulness of the design. One thing to note is that it's easier to test the lights while you're building, and Funwhole has made it much easier to do so in the newer sets. It's not a hassle anymore, and you can check everything as you go, which is a huge plus. So, what do I think of the Funwhole Steampunk Trading Center overall? Honestly, I think it's a fantastic set. The design is gorgeous, and the lighting really elevates the entire experience. The modular sections give you plenty of options for customization, and the build quality is solid. At the time of recording, the set is priced around 150 euros, which is about 5.6 cents per piece. When you consider all the parts, the lighting kit, and the unique steampunk design, I think the price is more than fair. Plus, there are often discounts available, so you can get it for an even better price if you're lucky. Or use my code MINIMSTORIES on the Funwhole website for 10% off your purchase. So that's my review of the Funwhole Steampunk Trading Center. If you're into steampunk, or if you love this kind of sets, this one's definitely worth checking out. The Trading Center already brings a lot of life and activity to the city, packed with details and lighting features. But if we really want something that dominates the skyline, we need something more vertical, and that's exactly what the Watchtower delivers. Today, I'm super excited to introduce you to the brand new Funwhole Steampunk Watchtower. This set really caught my eye with its intricate steampunk details and industrial charm. Funwhole is renowned for its meticulous packaging. Their boxes typically feature vibrant artwork that perfectly captures the set's theme, offering builders an enticing preview of what's inside. And this one is no exception. Before we dive in, I have a small favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out, and I truly appreciate it. Thanks in advance. As I said earlier, the box is spectacular. This set consists of 2,744 pieces and has the reference F9070. Inside the box, Funwhole does an excellent job keeping everything organized. Right on top, you'll find two thick instruction booklets. The parts are sorted into numbered bags that match different stages of the build, making the assembly process much easier. And once again, no stickers, just printed pieces, which I really appreciate. Thanks, Funwhole. The lighting components also come separately, packed in a sturdy box to ensure they stay safe during transit. Did you know that every Funwhole set comes with lights? That's right. The installation instructions are integrated directly into the manual, and they even include special pieces to keep everything neat and organized. The instruction manuals in Funwhole sets are exceptionally well designed, and this one is no exception. Right from the start, you get an introduction to the brand along with some really cool pictures of the set, complete with a story involving the minifigures. Next up, there's a visual guide with detailed instructions and precautions for the lights. Every step is carefully outlined, even showing you how to use those special pieces to keep the wires neatly hidden. These manuals are thick with clear images and distinct color cues that truly help during the build. So far, everything looks perfectly organized, just what you need for a smooth and enjoyable assembly. At the end of the manual, you'll also find other fantastic Funwhole sets. If any catch your eye, don't forget to use my code MINIMSTORIES, or check out the links in the description. Your support means a lot and keeps the channel going. Let's start building. This build is crafted at a size I really enjoy, a 32 by 32 stud base. And with this first set of bags, we already encounter some printed pieces. Bag number 2. We begin by installing some lights. I'm going to show you a few pieces and how the wires run through them. See that? Pretty straightforward, right? Funwhole truly is the master of lights. We kick things off with the first mechanism, just the start of many. We also have the reactor complete with its console, a telescope, and a mechanical observation bird sketch. The quality of the blocks is very good, and both the printed pieces and the gold pieces give the set a very nice finish. Bag number 3. We continue constructing the walls. The doors are gorgeous, and we have more stunning pieces in play. We're also continuing with the installation of some more lights. More gear wheels, and a door that will allow us easy access to the interior. Bag number 4. The front of the first floor is done. It's superb, a beautiful start to this magnificent building. Here, an elevator platform is created, connecting the ground floor to the first level. With bag number 5, we begin the second floor. And with bags number 6, we'll make a huge chain that will connect to a series of gears. Will we have another elevator? Bag number 7. With half the sets of bags made, more decorative pieces are added to the exterior. Lots of golden accents. It's really coming together beautifully, don't you think? Bags number 8. Another set of bags. And the tower starts to rise with even more gears and a stained glass window that adds a spectacular touch. Bags number 9. We find a panel with lights that will be located behind the stained glass. We'll see the final effect later on. Bags number 10. The chain attached to the gears is revealed to be yet another elevator. The mechanism is smooth and very well built. A faux glass front has also been added, which has a design imprint. Bags number 11. The second floor is now complete. And now with this set of bags, we move on to the top of the watchtower. Here, an imposing telescope shifts, thanks to a clever mechanism, and there are some truly spectacular printed stained glass windows. The entire level even rotates 360 degrees through another mechanism. Bags number 13. Moving to the very top of the tower, we add an extra light and another battery. It's a bit of a shame that this part uses a different power system from the base, especially for someone like me who prefers not to use batteries. To compensate, the roof is built with some beautifully green pieces. And last set of bags, we construct a statue in homage to Elvis Stewart. We also build a mechanical observation bird and a flying contraption. We wrap up the construction by connecting the battery. In this set, you even have the option to power it via a USB-C connection, as you can see here. The construction is finished. And before we show you this impressive building, let's talk about the minifigures. I won't be long. This set includes 5 minifigures, each with its own unique characteristics. Plus, there are 3 extra heads to give some figures a choice of 2 different expressions. All right, everyone. Now that our build is complete, let's take a closer look at this amazing Funwhole F9070 Steampunk Watchtower under just the right conditions. I've lowered the environment lights so we can fully appreciate the beautifully integrated lighting system that really brings the steampunk magic to life. I'll turn the lights down even lower towards the end. As you can see, every intricate detail, every gear, and every panel seems to jump out when the lights of the set are the main focal point. The warm glow from the LEDs contrasts perfectly against the industrial vintage textures, giving the watchtower a dynamic, almost living presence. Let's start by admiring the overall design. The watchtower stands tall and imposing with its layered construction. From the base on a 32 by 32 stud plate to the rotating upper level, each section of the build tells its own story. You can tell that Funwhole put a lot of thought into how the mechanisms interact. The chain elevator system, for example, not only is functional, but also adds to that authentic steampunk vibe, an industrial work of art that runs smoothly from one floor to the next. The lighting integration in this build deserves special mention. Funwhole has once again exceeded expectations by including all the installation instructions right in the manual and providing dedicated special pieces to hide those pesky wires. The LED components, which come in that extra sturdy box, are seamlessly integrated into the tower, lighting up key areas like the watchtower's exterior panels, interior corridors, and even the hidden mechanisms that drive the elevator functions. Watching the lights come alive is like witnessing the beating heart of a steampunk metropolis. Let's not forget the power options. For those of you who love versatility, this set can run on batteries, and it also offers a USB-C connection. While it's a bit of a bummer that the top section uses a different power system than the base, I see it as a fun quirk that adds character to the build. Personally, as someone who isn't a big fan of constantly swapping batteries, having that USB-C option is a real bonus. Just imagine switching between power modes seamlessly, depending on your setup. I also want to draw your attention to the thoughtful modular elements of this build. The watchtower's design isn't just about verticality, it's about movement and interaction. There's a special moment when the mechanism reveals the elevators running smoothly up and down, a testament to Funwhole's ingenuity in creating parts that are both visually appealing and mechanically efficient. The whole build is a perfect balance of aesthetics, functionality, and storytelling. Every mechanical component, from the revolving top to the intricate chain-driven elevators, is designed to not only impress at first glance, but also to offer an immersive building experience. Whether you're admiring the precision of the gears or marveling at how the printed pieces mimic aged metal and glass, you can see the passion that went into creating this set. Another thing that really sets this set apart is how every element contributes to the story. The statue honoring Elvis Stewart might seem like a quirky addition at first, but it's exactly that. A deliberate nod to blending modern and retro, a little piece of whimsy amid the gears and pipes. And then there's the mechanical observation bird, which adds an extra layer of narrative sophistication. It's not just about following the instructions and piecing together a model. It's about creating an entire world with its own mythology and hints at secret adventures waiting just beyond the horizon. Moving upwards, the top levels of the tower are also where it truly shines. Now, as I stand here watching the lights flicker and dance across the surface of the tower, I can't help but feel like I'm peeking into a time machine. There's a nostalgic allure to the steampunk genre, a mix of Victorian elegance and futuristic innovation. Funwhole has managed to encapsulate that very essence, resulting in a set that's rich in both style and substance. The inclusion of that impressive telescope, which pivots elegantly thanks to a clever mechanical design, invites you to peer into the distances, almost as if it were still functioning as a real lookout post. And take a moment to appreciate those printed stained glass windows. Under the reduced ambient lighting, their color and detail really pop, creating an almost mesmerizing effect as they catch and refract the light. At the very top of the watchtower, there's a captivating beacon light that truly steals the show. Its gentle, flickering glow echoes the romance of a vintage lighthouse, casting an enchanting pulse over the entire structure. Each flicker seems to breathe life into the tower, as if it's silently beckoning explorers through the night. The intermittent light not only accentuates the intricate details of the steampunk design below, but also adds a mysterious, almost magical charm to the overall build. It's as though this beacon is the watchful guardian of a forgotten era, inviting you to imagine the stories and adventures it has witnessed over time. With the ambient lighting turned down, I'm now focusing solely on the set's built-in lights. Let's take a few minutes to truly savor its stunning display. So, to sum it all up, the F9070 Steampunk Watchtower is more than just a model. It's a mini-universe of design, engineering, and creativity. It pulls you in with its stunning aesthetics, keeps you engaged with its clever mechanical features, and rewards you with a storytelling element that sparks your imagination long after the build is complete. After looking at a tall and imposing building, it's time to step away from traditional city structures and jump into one of the most iconic steampunk vehicles ever. The Pantasy Nautilus is completely different from everything we've seen so far. What if I told you the Titanic had a steampunk cousin? A cousin that plays classical music on an organ, fights giant squids, and travels deeper than any LEGO set has ever gone. Today we're diving straight into Jules Verne's world. With the Pantasy Steampunk Nautilus, a 2,500-piece tribute to science, steam, and imagination. But I won't be doing it alone.
Engines ready. Captain. Steam pressure optimal. Ego levels rising.
Ladies and gentlemen, meet Pan, Pantasy's 5th anniversary mascot, and my trusty co-pilot for this voyage. He came as a gift. He had no name. But trust me, after this adventure, he'll have personality for days. This set captures everything that makes steampunk irresistible. Brass pipes, silver plating, and that feeling that someone in the 1800s secretly built a submarine in their backyard. The Nautilus is divided into 3 modular sections, each packed with details and a few building traps I'll help you avoid. So grab your goggles and let's begin bag by bag.
Captain, permission to open the first bags.
Granted, Pan, just try not to mix the pieces. Bags 1 builds the display base, sturdy and elegant, perfect for showing off what's coming. By bags 2, we start adding life. A treasure chest filled with gold coins, coral decorations, and our first minifigure, Ned Land, the fearless harpooner.
So shiny. Finally, some treasure for all my hard work. Wait, these coins aren't real. Pantasy, we need to talk about my salary.
Okay, Pan, but we were talking about Ned.
He looks ready to jump straight into battle with a giant squid. I, however, prefer staying dry.
Same here, my friend. Let's keep the diving to Ned. Now, this part is pure fun. We build the giant squid, an articulated sea monster with movable tentacles and a rather aggressive face. And you know what? My son completely took over this section. He loved it so much, I just stood there, watching the sea monster take shape piece by piece.
Ah, yes. A classic tale of man versus monster, or, in this case, dad versus kid for the instruction manual.
Exactly, and the kid won. In the book, during its voyages, the Nautilus encounters several giant octopuses that attack the ship and must be fought off by the crew. And this one represents it beautifully. With bag 6, we start building the front section of the Nautilus. We have some shiny details as usual in Pantasy builds. And with bags 7 and 8, we complete this module and introduce the man, the myth, the legend, Captain Nemo himself. His minifigure is fantastic. Detailed uniform, stern expression, and that mysterious look that says, "I once played Bach at the bottom of the ocean."
Captain Nemo, sir. I've shined the brass pipes just for you.
Good work, Pan. Now with bags number 9 through number 14, we enter the heart of the Nautilus, the central module. This is where the story truly lives. You'll find the pipe organ, a perfect nod to the 1954 film where Nemo plays haunting melodies beneath the waves. And we meet our third minifigure, Dr. Aronnax, the curious scientist with his map and book. But at the end of bags 13, you'll find one of the trickiest part of the entire build, connecting the first 2 modules. You'll need patience and precision. First of all, remove the roof for a better view, and place the building in this direction. Make sure the little axe piece faces inward. Otherwise, it collides with the staircase. Then align your connector pins perfectly in a plus shape, not an X. If even one is slightly crooked, the module won't fit.
Alignment? Perfect. Steam pressure rising.
Okay, Pen. Once you've locked everything in, press down gently. And there it is. The front and central sections are united.
Captain, the ship is halfway operational.
Now for the final section, the propeller module. This one's packed with gears and mechanical detail, and trust me, it's not simple. Follow the instructions carefully, and the result is sturdy and functional.
Ouch!
Then comes the grand moment, connecting all 3 modules, bow, midsection, and propeller, into one glorious steampunk submarine.
And click. Modules connected. Steam valves sealed. Adventure ready.
Beautiful. A moment of pure satisfaction. And probably the closest I'll ever get to feeling like Captain Nemo. Fully assembled, the Pantasy Nautilus is simply stunning. It's a perfect blend of retro machinery and literary fantasy. You can almost hear Verna whispering, "Beneath the waves lies another world." The set isn't just for display. You can remove the submarine from its stand and swoosh it through the air. Hatches open, compartments reveal, hidden interiors, and the entire design invites storytelling. Let's talk quality. The parts are made by Go Bricks, known for their excellent clutch and color consistency. No stickers here, everything's printed. for around 115 to 140 euros. This is an amazing value for collectors and steampunk lovers alike. It's elegant, imaginative, and a real conversation piece.
And I didn't lose a single piece this time.
The Pantasy Steampunk Nautilus is more than a build. It's a story about exploration, science, and imagination. The very things that Jules Verne wrote about more than 150 years ago. If you love steampunk, classic literature, or just want something truly unique for your shelf, this set is an absolute must.
Captain, the voyage was successful.
Thanks for the help, Pan. And we have reached the end. After revisiting these 4 steampunk sets, it's clear that each one represents a different facet of this theme. The Pantasy Windmill stands out for its calm and vintage atmosphere, almost like a display piece that tells its own story. The Funwhole Trading Center is probably the most lively in terms of urban detail, with lots of small elements to explore and a strong presence inside a city layout. The Watchtower, also from Funwhole, is the one that instantly grabs attention thanks to its height and overall silhouette. It's the kind of model that immediately stands out in any display or exhibition. And then we have the Pantasy Nautilus, which completely breaks away from the traditional building format and works more like a steampunk centerpiece, adding variety and personality to the city. If I had to choose a favorite, in terms of overall build experience and visual impact, I would probably go with the Watchtower, but honestly, all 4 together really show how versatile the steampunk theme can be. Now, I'm curious to hear your opinion. Which of these steampunk sets is your favorite? If you enjoyed this more comparative format and revisiting multiple sets in one video, let me know in the comments, because I can definitely bring more specials like this with other themes and brands. And of course, if you want to watch the full individual reviews of each set, you'll find all the links down in the description. Thanks for watching, and happy building!